Welcome back, everybody, to the Top Agent Podcast, episode 22. And today we're going to do something a little bit different. We don't have a guest coming on today because I guess my guest is Stacey Regula, because I really want to dive into Stacey's first year with eXp, because we're coming up on both of our anniversary dates. So we
Yes.
both started February. I started 2 years ago, and you have been in for a year. So
Yeah,
we're going to reflect back on that first year.
sounds good.
Where would you like to begin?
I guess with the transition, because a lot of people have concern about moving brokerages and, giving their notice. So a lot of people or a lot of brokerages do require 2 months from what I've heard. So that was a bit of a awkward 2 months after giving my notice. So hopefully your brokerage doesn't ask for that. But it's worth it in the end. So I came over in January, at the end of January last year, and I was nervous because now you have to learn this technology, which everyone's like, oh, I don't want to learn how to do everything. I'm comfortable, but it was definitely worth it. And learning the online part of eXp was like so user friendly and so easy. And the courses that they have in the world on how to use these programs, they're like 30-minute courses, and maybe you have to watch them twice, but so user friendly. I know I struggled with DocuSign and DigiSign, which is eXp's free um, electronic signatures, is like so much easier. Do you find that, Ryan?
Well, electronic signatures definitely revolutionized real estate. Like in Manitoba, it only became acceptable to do that during the pandemic. So
Yeah.
that's one positive thing that came out of all of that, is the fact that we're now allowed to use electronic signatures, which really streamlines and makes it a lot easier for a realtor to do their job. And you know what? It makes it easier for the client as well, because they don't have to get up and leave the comfort of their home when you're doing simple tasks like signing off on a condition.
Yeah.
It's definitely something that there had to be something drastic happen for the powers that be in Manitoba to say, yes, you can do that now. And
Yes.
thankfully it didn't go away after the pandemic has cleared up. But I
Yes.
want to ask you a question, Stacey, because you go back, and whenever I say no contracts when I'm talking about eXp and coming over here, um, we had very drastically different transitions into the company. Because when I quit, I basically was, given to the end of the day to get my stuff out of the office. It wasn't an aggressive thing. They gave me till the end of the day, and I knew I was leaving. It wasn't. There was no real abrasive hard feelings. But I mean, there's no point in me sticking around a place where I'm not wanted, and I'm probably not going to do the most enthusiastic job I can in an office that is forcing me to stay. So in your scenario, the contract you signed when you started basically had to be reread later, because everyone needs to be very cautious on what they're doing when they first get their license. But there was a monetary penalty if you would have ducked out on the length of your contract or the 2 month notice period, which
Yes.
is basically them just capturing you and holding you hostage for 2 months as a bit of a kick in the ass on the way out the door.
Yes. And I was basically told that that 2 months was their opportunity to convince me to stay. But I was halfway out the door already. And, after you have your initial training with most brokerages, they do a couple months of kind of showing you some very general real estate stuff. And then you're on your own. So I just felt alone and lost a bit. And everyone was kind of blaming that on the pandemic. But I came over to eXp, which we don't even have an office, and we don't necessarily meet up in person a lot, but I did find that I developed a good sense or a sense of community, and it was really nice to build relationships with other realtors just through online meetings or helping each other. lots of agents are willing to help you out of province, in province, other countries. It's a pretty different collaboration with eXp, and it was motivating for me, kind of helped me light the fire again. So
Well, that's interesting as well, because a lot of brokerages become these juggernauts, and they have these huge office spaces where you go in and you get swallowed up, and people kind of forget about you
yeah,
until the day that you tell them they're leaving. Then all of the good things start coming out. So we've seen that happen a number of times where people are on their way out the door and then they get offered all these amazing things.
yes,
But if you got to this point already where you're thinking about leaving, and it took that in order for you to be offered opportunity, how long do you think that culture of opportunity is going to last at your old brokerage?
yes. Well, and one of the arguments people have been saying is, well, they offered me a better commission split. As you know, with eXp, ours is 80-20, but a lot of brokerages offer an 80-20 split or 15%, but they don't cap, or they do cap, but they don't get that back. And so that was it's a huge motivator for me. Like this year, my goal is to icon, because to earn that $16,000 you've contributed to the company back is mind blowing. And to pass up that opportunity and continue just giving your 20% all year long is I don't know why you'd want to keep doing that. So
Well, EXP is this is turning into a bit of an EXP infomercial, but we definitely have advantages in the fact that um, there's opportunities for stock and residual income.
yes,
You don't get that elsewhere.
no,
They sometimes, I've seen brokerage where they offer you like a partnership stake, but it's not really being a partner. You don't really own that brokerage. Um, it's odd, and it shouldn't take leaving to bring some of this stuff to light, where people change the way they do business. However, that was the experience at my old brokerage, that they altered their fees when I left, but it doesn't change the fact that eXp was still a better deal. There is a better commission split, there is a better opportunity, and there's no weird hidden fees.
no,
Like, for example, the 1% Royal LePage fee.
yes,
What the hell is that all about? So 60-40 split is not 60-40 split. You have all your office fees plus that weird 1% Royal LePage fee. Where is my 40% going?
yeah. And then there's the fees for your for the social fund. Yeah, I don't know, that it's all these extra little things, and yeah, there's two additional 1% fees, I believe, with Royal LePage.
So comparing the training opportunities, is there a comparison?
Yes, I do find like when I came over to eXp just before I left, I was looking into some paid training, as most realtors do, because that's your only option really, other than the basic stuff your brokerage gives you. So I did sign up to take the Brian Buffini course. I believe you did as well. And then I joined eXp, and I was like, well, guess I didn't really need to sign up for that course, because now I have endless training courses at my fingertips that are basically telling me the same thing. So the training opportunities, it's whatever you're interested in. So if you want to do social media or listing presentations, there's something for everyone. And I really enjoy the fact that it's agents that are actively selling houses, not just like your broker passing along information when they haven't sold a house in how many years. Another thing I was thinking about that was also a big difference for me is the weekly meetings. A lot of brokerages transitioned into online meetings when the pandemic came, and then they just kept that. Our previous meetings, my last brokerage was just us watching the broker on recorded or on Zoom. But I find with our meetings, they're in the world, and it's everybody from the brokerage, and we're given an opportunity to give our input, which is nice. I'm actually paying attention to the meeting, not just, half asleep on the couch, not focusing, because now I have a chance to have a say, and they do fun things with us. So I think it makes a big difference, the interaction from our brokers. And I've heard that from other provinces and states too, that they like the collaboration with the brokers and realtors. So.
Yeah. Well, the other thing to consider here is that, you have all the best agents giving all their stuff away for free in eXp. Mm-hmm. And a perfect shining example of that is the fact that our little Upstart podcast has had the likes of Brent Gove, Cliff Freeman,
Lars.
Like, we've had some pretty major realtors stop in and chat with us.
Yes.
But they do training in the world all the time, and there's a ton of information that they share freely in that world. Yes. But there's an additional layer, so you're not just bound by your brokerage. We don't have borders in eXp, so while we are under the Manitoba brokerage, which is based in Winnipeg, we also are part of a revenue share team, which is based, it's the Game Changers team. So our immediate sponsors come out of Saskatchewan, but reach way down into the United States. And we have 2 additional meetings per week just based on that team that we have the option to attend, plus a mastermind group that meets on Wednesday. So 3 additional meetings based on being a part of that additional side team.
Yes. And I think it's really important, and I see the importance even more now that I'm in eXp, but I'm glad I did my homework before I joined. I had been contacted by a few agents about eXp and the possibility of joining with them. And one of the agents that had spoke to me, her upline or sponsor was in the States, which is fine, but I just felt like her organization didn't have as much training opportunities, and she wasn't getting, as much attention, I guess you could say. So it depends what you're looking for. Like, you're not interested in training, that's great, but I was interested in the Game Changers organization because I was really attracted to all of the training opportunities and the amount of people that Game Changers has in Manitoba. Kind of gave me that team feeling.
Absolutely. The other thing is, if maybe we're not for you either. Like, I wish people would just take their time.
Me too.
And not just interview a brokerage, but interview the team that you would like to sign up with.
Yes.
And when I say team, not team in a traditional real estate sense, but team as in that organization that is part of your rev share group.
Yes.
And sometimes it's not the right fit for you. So, for example, there was an agent in Winnipeg who signed up with another, talked to me at length, talked to someone else at length. The other person was a better fit. And I recognized that. There was a lot more community between those 2 people. And that's okay.
Yes. It's just important to figure out where you would like to fit in. So,
of course.
What you're looking for.
Yeah. So ask what that team offers. But back to your first year, I mean, if you were to quantify your whole real estate career pre-eXp to now and compare those 2, what are the key differences? Yeah.
I think one word comes to mind for me, and it's collaboration. You and I, we work together a lot. We push each other to grow our businesses, and there's other agents that have left my previous brokerage and came with me, and we work together frequently. And I just think the mindset is different now for me between this year and last year. Last year I was just kind of running my own business and just doing my own thing, and now I kind of have accountability partners, which is huge. And I just find that I feel like I could go a month and people would be asking where I am, where I didn't feel like that was the case before. So for me, it's like, when I have an off day, I feel like I feel motivated to get back on the horse the next day because I've got coworkers encouraging me to do so. I think that's a big thing with eXp. I've heard that across the board. I watch a lot of podcasts and TikToks about other realtors saying the same thing with the collaboration. It's just everyone's kind of helping each other, not stealing your lunch. So,
That's right. And that was something that I always thought of when I was with my other brokerages is, I've got to guard my business
yes.
from the people around me. And that the thought still is in the back of my head sometimes, but it's never been an issue over here.
Yeah.
Now,
I've
we're
learned it's okay to ask for help between last year and this year and not feel stupid, I guess you could say.
Yeah, that's a big thing. That's a culture thing.
Yes.
So, I mean,
I know in our province alone, I've reached out to some of the agents that have 25 years in and, hey, what's your thought on this? And they'll call me and we'll talk about it. So.
And in turn, they sometimes reach out and say, how do you work this thing on?
Yeah. Can you help me with something online?
That's right.
Yeah. But one thing I've heard from people as well is, well, if I go to eXp, like there's, who's doing the back, like the office paperwork and, are they sending our deals to the lawyers? And these were all questions that I had as well, but it's the same. Like my deals are getting sent to the lawyers by the company. We have people reviewing our paperwork and telling you if you made a mistake. And I actually find they're a lot faster than what I was dealing with before.
Mm-hmm.
They have a lot of systems in place. So,
well, the quality control is definitely a level up.
yes.
They don't miss anything.
No.
So if you were to mess up something on your paperwork, you will be notified of that.
Yes.
And that's a good thing.
Yes, it is. And I was concerned about that. But it's definitely an invalid concern.
Yeah, we have a back office staff that are the unsung heroes of eXp that make sure that we are paid accordingly, that our paperwork is in the right places, and that everything is done correctly.
Yes. I'm sort of diving into the referral part of eXp as well. And recently I've set up a client of mine that wants to buy in Portugal. So I reached out to an eXp Portugal agent and I will get a referral and she'll take my clients shopping there. So
yeah,
I think that's pretty awesome.
Yeah. So the people that haven't heard of eXp, they will soon because we are gaining momentum. We are still the fastest growing real estate company in the world.
Yes.
And with major projections. And when the stock market comes back, all of those icons from 2022 and 23 will be smiling. Why? Because chances are they've gained $8,000 to $16,000 back in stock, and if they got it when the stock market was at a low, they will be very happy when the market.
That's what I'm hoping for.
You're hoping to get it while it's still low.
Yes.
See, that's the thing. Like if there was ever a criticism where somebody said the stock is down this much, and they use that as a criticism, and I would think to myself, but you want it to be down that much for the moment, because this is when you're buying into it. If you're at the end of your career, you want it to be at an all-time high.
Yes.
And that way you could draw that and retire.
100%. And that's the big thing for me is I left, and so did you. We left a job with a pension, and now I feel a little bit more security. So
yeah, yes, the good old job with a pension.
Makes me cringe.
Yeah, that was a weird. Yeah, we're both a background in corrections, which I went to a reunion recently, and I thought, man, I could never do this again.
Yeah. I keep in touch with a lot of my previous coworkers. A lot of them are clients of mine, and
I do as well. And that comes back to your sphere of influence,
yes,
where market leads. And we have training that talks about utilizing your sphere on a weekly basis as well. So
yes,
those that are interested, please reach out to one of us.
yes.
Well, Stacey, you got anything else you want to touch on before we jump off of here?
The best thing I can say is people who say I'm comfortable, you need to reconsider that. Being comfortable is not a good thing.
The magic generally happens outside your comfort zone. So your comfort level is probably what's holding you back.
Yes.
All right. Thanks for watching, everybody. Make sure you hit like, make sure you hit subscribe. Do that for us, please. And we'll be back with more exciting guests next week and all the way through 2023 and beyond.